Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Rotary Club of Georgetown virtual meeting. This is our time right now for fellowship and gathering. If you haven't talked to a member in a while, feel free to give them a phone call if you've got their number. We'll get started with the regular meeting around 12:10, 12:15. Again, thanks for joining us. It is our time for fellowship.
That worked really.
Good afternoon, everyone. Rob Hipp here. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Georgetown virtual meeting this afternoon. Please take this time for gathering and fellowship. If you haven't talked to members in a while and you've got their phone number, feel free to give them a call, check up on our fellow members. And also, if you're on YouTube, feel free, if you've got the chat window, you can chat there as well. Just wanted to welcome everybody in. We'll get started about 12:10, 12:15. We'll hear from our club president, George Lorgan. Again, thanks for being part of this virtual meeting. Georgetown, Texas Rotary Club.
Welcome to the Rotary Club of Georgetown, Texas. We have about 15 to 20 minutes before we start our formal part of the meeting. This is a time when we actually have the opportunity to get to know each other, just to talk to different people. I know that's a little difficult when you're watching from a YouTube live stream, but what I highly recommend you do is pick up your phone and call other members. It's a great time to catch up with them, see how they're doing, see how they're enjoying this wonderful coronavirus craziness that we're going through right now, and just encourage them that we're going to get through this together, and we keep working together. There's a lot of exciting and wonderful things that people are doing all over the city of Georgetown, all over the country. Just really, really awesome stuff. So I highly encourage you to pick up your phone right now during this time frame, and we'll actually kick off the full meeting at 12:15. But until then, pick up your phone, call another Rotary member, and check on them, see how they're doing, and make sure that they're able to connect and join us. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Rotary Club of Georgetown, Texas. This is our noon meeting. We normally take this time when we're seeing each other, not virtually, for gathering and fellowship. I'm Rob Hipp, George Lorgan, our club president. Please take this moment to call on a fellow Rotarian if you haven't talked to someone in a while and you have their number. For those of you that have the YouTube chat, feel free to chat in there as well. Again, just use this time for fellowship. We'll get started about 12:10, 12:15. Thanks for being with us today, friends. Hey, good afternoon, friends. Thanks for joining us for the Rotary Club of Georgetown virtual meeting. We'll get started here in just a few minutes. Continue this time for fellowship. A lot of wonderful folks joining us this morning. Appreciate all of you. I'm Rob Hipp. George Lorigan is our club president. We'll hear from him here in a few minutes as we'll get the meeting underway. Probably around 12:15 or so. If you're on the YouTube chat and you've got that, feel free to continue chatting there. And we will get started before too long. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you soon, friends.
Welcome to the Rotary Club of Georgetown. I am George Lorigan, honored to be your president this year. And without any further ado, we're going to go on to the next slide, which is wrong direction. Ron Barrick, who hasn't been able to connect in, so I will go ahead and start us off with a prayer. Bow with me. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the blessings that you give each one of us. We know we're going through a very difficult time in our lives with a pandemic virus that is just devastating our world and changing everything that we're used to doing. We ask you for your strength, that we stick together, that we watch you take care of each other, and we rely on you for all our needs. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Next, we have the pledge by Ron Garland.
Yes, at this special time in our own lives, and in this special place we call America, please join with me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Put your hand over your hearts. I pledge allegiance
to the
To the
flag
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one
nation under God, indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice
for all.
Thank you, Ron. Next, we have milestones. Stephen Benold.
Well, that was nice of you to put it on the screen for me. I thought I had to read it off a piece of paper. Remember birthdays, Felix Boston. Spouse birthdays, O.L. Davis's wife, Joan. Will Boughton's wife, Freya. Wedding anniversaries, Tiffany and Sean Enos, 2 years. Steve and Nancy Shaw, 33 years. Mike and Kathy Sweeney, 41 years. And club anniversaries, Michelle Marshall, 6 years, and Gary Reed, 10 years. Salute.
Salute. Thank you so much, Dr. Benold. I also like to welcome visiting guests and visiting Rotarians. So we should have a lot of guests on today, especially the folks that are joining us with the receiving scholarships. And I welcome and thank each one of you for being there. Both the students and parents and teachers were able to be on. We thank you all for coming, and we're very excited to be able to present these scholarships today. Obviously, you're not going to be handing a check at this time. Those checks actually go to the colleges, but all of that will be taken care of behind the scenes for you. We just need to know exactly where, through your school, where all that goes. So very much welcome to have you here today at this club meeting, and we're very excited that for your kids to allow them to be able to help them with their scholarships and help them going to college. Dennis.
Everything's clear today. We've already had the discussions.
Well, there you go. Good stuff. All right.
I got my tally. We got a lot of money in the coffers now.
Awesome. George Oliver.
Yes, last week I told you that the Rotary Board had accepted the proposals for membership for 2 members, Aaron Hillary and Chris Walker. As you know, typically we leave those proposals on Carol Hardy's desk there during meeting time for 2 weeks. But since that's not an option this time, what we did instead was I scanned them, I emailed them to George Lorigan, and he went ahead and forwarded the actual proposals on to all the members. So you have those for your review, and that's going to substitute for being on the table. If anyone has any feedback, either negative or positive, about these individuals, please let us know. Otherwise, I believe the 10-day review will be up this week. So just to let you know.
George, thank you so much. And I have received several positive reviews, so I thought that was great. Oh my gosh, there is Ron Barrick. Ron, thank you so much. I'm so excited that you got to join us.
I apologize for not being able to get on quicker.
No, that's fine. You've been working diligently for about 30 minutes, I think, to try to get on here. So
yeah,
it sometimes works out. So I'm going to go ahead. I did a short prayer, but I'm going to let you go because you have a invocation that you have prepared. So let's go ahead and I'll let you do that this time.
all right. Please pray with me. Our Father in heaven, although we are physically separated, we are spiritually united, and for that, we give you thanks. Even though there is a lot of uncertainty in our world today, we know that you will always provide for our needs. We give thanks for the medical personnel that face great danger so that our lives may be safe. We give thanks for all those who make sure that we have the things that we need and want. The producers, the truckers, the stockers, the clerks, the cleanup crews, the volunteers, and the many more that we depend on to meet our daily needs. Today, we give thanks for a very special group of very talented individuals, both students and teachers. These are the ones that will lead us into the future. We give thanks for the parents and the educators that have provided the guidance and direction that brought those students to where they are today. We know that you are with us always, and for that we give thanks. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Stephen, Dr. Benold.
I'm going to make this brief, and I'm going to just concentrate on Williamson County today. Williamson County continues to have new cases, but they have markedly diminished since April the 10th. And the increase in cases is arithmetic, and that means instead of doubling 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, it's going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So even if we add 6 new cases every day, when you have 60 cases, that's 10% growth. When you have 120 cases, that's 2% growth. We now have 180 cases, that's 3% growth. So the growth rate is going down. And I did the math incorrectly, but I think you understand the growth rate is going down. Georgetown has only 1/6 of the cases in Williamson County. So most of the cases are still in Round Rock. Most of the cases are in 78626. And of the Georgetown cases, there are about 30 of them. 15 of them have recovered. So there are only 15 that are active. So actually here in Georgetown, I think we're practicing physical distancing pretty well, and we're doing better than most of the other folks.
Thank you so much, Dr. Benold. Excellent. Operation Gardasia over there at Mel's Lone Star Lanes is still going on. If you're at all interested in being a part of that, you can certainly check it out and volunteer to be a part of that program. They're basically making masks, and they're just going full steam ahead making masks, but they can certainly use some more volunteers if that's something you'd like to do. So we're going to be going through several different volunteer opportunities. Yep, the next one coming up here, Ron Swain, tell us a little bit about what's going on at the Caring Place.
Thank you, George, and good afternoon, Rotarians and guests. We continue the COVID-19 task force that was appointed by George several weeks ago, which includes myself, Henry Yu, and Elizabeth McFarland. And we're joined by Chris Cash, who's chair of the Grants Committee. We've been working to identify opportunities within our community that our Rotary Club members and individually and as a club we can support. And of course, the Caring Place is one of those. You see the donation request for food on your screen. They are still administering or distributing food. The staff is Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays each week, and fresh produce on the first, third, and fifth Mondays. The other, if we can go to the next slide, one of the other opportunities to be supportive is of our fire department and emergency staff, and listed there are some of the personal protective equipment needs that were identified a few weeks ago. We really haven't gotten an update on this, and I'll make sure that we do that, give an update next week at our meeting. I would mention that the task force has received applications for our mini grants, And we will be reviewing those applications this afternoon following our club meeting and making recommendations to our grants committee and to our board for grants to go to some of our local nonprofit social service organizations. George, I think unless there's another slide, I think that concludes my announcement about our community outreach activities.
Very good. And Chris Cash.
Good afternoon, everyone. So another service opportunity is for the Boys and Girls Club of Georgetown. They are right now serving approximately 20 kids per day for people who are in the necessary worker roles that are still working. And they are asking for our help in getting meals delivered to the Boys and Girls Club. So the opportunity, there's a morning and an evening sign up. George this afternoon sent out a link that gets you to a sign up page. And basically you pick up meals from Tippett Elementary School that the Georgetown ISD is providing and deliver them to the Boys and Girls Club. So I'd encourage everyone to look at that sign up. And it can be, one time a week. You could do 4 or 5 times a week, whatever you're interested in. You can just go to that link and sign up. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Jim Deuser.
Thank you, George. Oh boy, you got pictures of it. Wonderful. One of the biggest needs in Georgetown and Williamson County is for food, because a lot of people are not working. They don't have the money to buy food. And if they can go to the caring place, they can get donations. But if they're homebound because of age or infirmity or any other reason, they really need somebody to deliver food to them. And they are calling the Office of the Salvation Army, and the Army is partnering with Helping Hands, which many of you are familiar with, Bob Weimer, and also with the Georgetown Housing Authority. And so the Salvation Army finds out who is in need of food, and they get it delivered to them using these partners. I would mention that while the need is for food, sometimes it's when people are homebound, they get really, really lonely. And fortunately, at the Salvation Army, there's somebody, if they call and say, I need food, they also are going to get somebody that will listen to their story. And I hear story after story of people who, they need the food, but they also need somebody to care. And so I'm really happy to offer this opportunity. And you can see the addresses on the attachment to the trumpet. And so I'm so pleased that Rotarians can be helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. And thank you for all the work that you do in that area. I'd like to share with you something else that goes on along those lines. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to sit in on the Zoom meeting for the Rotary Club of New York City. They're in probably the hottest and hardest hit place in the entire United States. They've got 9 million people in the city, of which 2 million live below the poverty level. Most of those in the east side of New York City. And they were sharing that some of the things that they were doing, but one of them that just really impressed me a lot. Many of y'all understand a little bit about logistics, and you know that we have a tremendous system of logistics in our country, providing us with all the food that we need to have. And if you think of it, that food gets kind of divided into 2 major locations. One goes to restaurants and schools and things like that, and the other one goes to grocery stores. Well, as you probably are very well aware, the restaurants are closed, and they don't need anywhere near the food that they had before for even the takeouts that they're doing, and the schools are closed, and even the food that they're distributing there isn't the same scale as they had before when they're serving all the kids. But the system hasn't changed enough that food is getting out to the grocery stores. So in the east side of New York City, even if they get stimulus checks and they get money, there's no food in their grocery stores. So the Rotarians in that Rotary Club of New York City have gotten together. They contacted some farms across the country, one in Idaho. In fact, if you saw the news on, I think it was ABC last night, they were actually highlighted on the news. They contacted a farm out there that grew potatoes. They got a truck driver out there, and the truck's arriving tomorrow full of those. They've got a bakery that they're going to use as a distribution point for bagging them up and distributing them to families. There's another place down in Louisiana that has rice, and they're coordinating with truck drivers to get the rice up to New York City. So there's lots of different ideas. Now, that's beyond the scale that we're in need of right here, but it's exciting to be a part of that and how they're working with other Rotary clubs who are able to help them just by tying in and connecting. You know, they were the speakers at the Zoom meeting last Friday at 4:00. You know, the previous president of that Rotary club was the speaker there. And then they also talked about some of the needs that they had and invited us to join them at their Rotary Club meeting on Zoom yesterday at 11:00. So it's just an exciting thing to do. If anyone's interested in that link, let me know. I'd be happy to send that out to everyone. The folks are all welcome to come join the meeting anytime. And they'd love to have input, or anyone has any ideas that can help them out. So all across the world, the Rotary Club is doing a lot of really big things. And there's another really big item coming up. I believe it's going to be on May 2nd. It'll be talked about extensively this afternoon at the Zoom meeting at 4:00 that everyone has received a notice about. So you definitely want to check that out. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Field of Honor, still things going on with there. Just want to kind of highlight the website is being finalized testing on that. And we've also added the flags to honor COVID-19 heroes for this in the fall. So that'll be an exciting new addition to our Field of Honor. A couple highlighted things. The meeting this afternoon for the special district meeting is from 4 to 5. We'll have another virtual club meeting on May 1st. Grant training, 1 hour grant training. There's the actual link to sign up. But if you go to the district website, you can sign up right there. It's on April 29th at 7 p.m. So anyone who has grant training last year went to the full course. 1 hour is all you need to continue to maintain that status of grant management training. Wilson Morris, you have the floor.
All right. Thank you, George.
This is what we often call the Danny and Wilson Scholarship Show. But Danny said he's not going to talk today, so it's all yours.
Thank you. I think Danny's listening, so I still have to be careful what I say. But we decided just to do it this way. It's been a bit of a challenge this year. It's been a challenge with the students because they're not in school. They're not seeing their counselors every day. Our committee did not meet face-to-face. We exchanged emails as we reviewed the scholarships, but we got it done. We're proud of that. Danny has been our main contact for years and was again this year with the school system. He knows all the counselors and teachers, etc. And he did a great job of herding all this information up to get ready for this program. I'm going to go a little faster this year just because, well, y'all probably don't want to hear me talk that much for this long. In the past, as you all know, we would, at this point, would welcome guests, school administration officials, principals, counselors, teachers, and ask them to stand up. Well, we're skipping that. We're going right on down. We also normally introduce all the parents as we announce the scholarship winners, and we're skipping that this year. So it's going to be a little bit different format, but we are going to announce all of our scholarship winners, and that's the people we're really highlighting today anyway. Rotary's been doing these scholarships for a long time. This year, we're giving away almost $30,000 in scholarships. And one other thing, one of the rules has changed this year, except for those that are on this Zoom meeting, unless you mute. In the past, when we announced the college of choice, we've always had some rabble-rousers out there that tend to scream and yell and wave their hands and give signs with their hand, et cetera, et cetera. And that's always been prohibited just to keep the meeting going. But the good news is this year, those of you at home or watching on YouTube and including Zoom, as long as you're muted, you may scream and yell for the college of your choice when it's announced. So that's going to change next year. I bet we're back together again. But for this year, that has changed. We also have a unique scholarship this year, a very unique scholarship from the Higginbotham Educational Foundation. It's not really a Rotary scholarship, but it is one that we help to manage. And I'd like to ask right now if Judge Billy Ray Stubblefield could give us a little overview of the Higginbotham Foundation, the Higginbothams, and what that scholarship is before I make that award.
I will do that, Wilson. I'm honored to be on the Higginbotham Educational Foundation board, along with Benno, a current member of our Rotary Club, and also Dan Gaddis the Younger, who is not able to be with us today. He's apparently out working cattle for some reason. But we are so pleased to have this collaboration with the Rotary Scholarship Committee. We asked them to join with us and help us with this project. They, in turn, forwarded to us 3 applications for the Higginbotham Scholarship. Those 3 individuals were extraordinary. Just so pleased that we were able to see those and see the aspirations of these young people. The decision of the board of the foundation was unanimous. And our choice for our first annual Higginbotham Foundation Scholarship is Alvin Gusman. Alvin is an extraordinary young man. We had a Zoom meeting of the board and Alvin and his parents a day or two ago. And I think we all just fell in love with the family. His dad is Captain Gusman, who had a career in the Coast Guard and was the head of the Coast Guard at the Port of Houston. A highly responsible position because it's one of, I think, the top 2 ports in the United States. His wife, Cochita, was with us. And the board would be looking over his shoulder and holding him responsible and keeping his motivation high. Alvin has decided he wants to study economics and business. And believe me, his decision-making was very sound. He also has decided he wants to go to a little college over on the Brazos River that I believe they call Texas A&M. And he was already accepted to several universities and made that decision. And sorry, I'm slowing you down, Wilson, but I want to do this right because I want the Rotary Club and the public generally to understand what a commitment that Judge Higginbotham had and Deborah had to youth. His contributions, this is one of them. And the other that is notable is the Marine Military Academy down in Harlingen, Texas, where he is very well thought of for his contributions as a Marine. He was a JAG officer, which is a desk job in Vietnam. Tet offenses started, and he said that he was not satisfied with sitting behind a desk, and he eventually bucked his superior officers who thought he was crazy, bucked them, and eventually got up to division level where the general agreed to give him a rifle company. So he was involved in combat, even though he was a lawyer for the Marine Corps. He also has made a significant contribution to Texas A&M Central Texas, and they are naming the cadet training room for Don and Deborah Higginbotham. This scholarship is significant. It's a $10,000 annual scholarship. Recipients will be required to forward to us their grades and sort of keep us posted on how they're doing. And if all goes well, they can apply the next year up to 4 years for the same level of scholarship. And Alvin, are you out there somewhere? Apparently not. If you are, you need to be sure to unmute yourself. But at any rate, we're doing this award today, but we hope to have a formal award and when we all are able to get together as a club. And I want you all to have an opportunity to meet Alvin and his parents and hear about him directly. And with that, Wilson, do you have any questions?
No questions at all. I think you covered it beautifully. Thank you.
Wilson, this is Ron Swain, and thank you, Judge Stubblefield. I'd just like to add words of commendation to this committee and to Alvin and his parents, who are very good friends of mine. Conchita and I work together in the economic development unit for the city, and Wayne, his father, and I are very good friends. So I want to commend Alvin and his family on this outstanding award.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It is a great scholarship. That's a first. That's something we haven't done in the past. We did that for the first time this year, and it's been really a neat thing. You'll see there's a slide up now about the Field of Honor. The Rotary Club of Marietta, Georgia, I always want to say Georgia, Marietta, California, has really been our mentor through the establishment of the Field of Honor, and had always wanted to honor any of our applicants going into the military. None of our applicants this year chose the military or any of the military academies that are scattered throughout the United States. So I just wanted to give a mention to them there, and as always, thank that club. I don't know if they're online with us today. I don't think so, but we've had 3 years of success on the Field of Honor, and another year coming up this November 11th. So next slide, George. Go on down. The next scholarship is also a special scholarship, the Don and Patti Hewlett First Generation Scholarship. Don Hewlett's been a member of this club for many years, and he and his wife Patti have been Georgetown fixtures for many years. And I know everybody's heard of Hewlett Chevrolet, a great company on in Georgetown. Used to be downtown; it's no longer there. At any rate, this is a little bit of a unique scholarship, but it is provided through the Rotary Club, through the funding of Don and Patti Hewlett. And this scholarship is also for 4 years, up to $2,000 a year. And George, for the next slide. This year, the Don and Patti Hewlett First Generation Scholarship is going to Ashley Knapnick. Excuse my pronunciations. Usually somebody yells out and corrects me, but y'all can't do that today. She is the first generation of her family to attend college, and we're going to try to help her out as much as we can. She's going to graduate from Eastview High School and attend Tarleton State University in the fall. She's the recipient of the Don and Patti Hewlett First Generation Scholarship. We're honored to do that, and Ashley was active in the FFA and the Eastview Archery team. in high school, and she also worked at Old Navy. And the last thing I'll mention, I'll expand a little bit on it. Her honored teacher is Mr. Brandon Massey. Well, in the past, we always introduced the teachers as they would stand up with the students. Many of the students are inspired and motivated by a particular teacher. Talk about some unsung heroes. Some of our school teachers are just unbelievable what they do when working with all of our young people. And her honored teacher today is Mr. Brandon Massey. There is a small financial award for Mr. Brandon Massey, but we'll be doing that via the U.S. mail or other ways. Okay, George, we can proceed on now. And our first one on the list today is a young man named Nicholas Ariano. He's the high school. He's going to attend A&M. I didn't hear any whooping, but that's good. It was quiet, and I appreciate that. He honored a teacher this year by the name of Corey Seawright. And while at Eastview, he was the VP of his class for 4 years and also part of the Patriot News team. Great guy. Next. I'm sorry we don't have a photo. Some of the information was slow coming in, but Daniel Arnold's graduating from Georgetown High School this spring with a 4.0 GPA and is going to attend Vanderbilt or the University of Texas in Austin. I did not receive the final information from him regarding his honored teacher. The next slide, George. Jasmine Baker, Georgetown High School. She's planning on attending Texas Tech. I'm looking to see if Ron Garland's jumping up and down. She's volunteered at St. David's Hospital here in Georgetown, is also a member of 4-H and part of the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce Junior Leadership class, or she graduated from it. I took the leadership class many years ago for the adults, and it's a wonderful, wonderful class that really introduces you to everything here in Georgetown. Her honored teacher is Mr. Wes Coleman. Next slide, George. Jamarcus Brown is going to graduate from Georgetown High School this spring, and he's not made his final, well, let me say he's not made his decision, or we haven't received the information on that. Once again, with the school being closed, the counselors all communicating by email. There's a few of them that just didn't get to us, but we're glad to be able to award Jamarcus Brown a scholarship, and hopefully we'll get to meet him someday. Next slide, please. Wakaris Butler is going to graduate from Eastview High School and is planning to attend Sam Houston State University. He honored a teacher by the name of Patricia Douglas. While in high school, he played defensive end, and here is a typo that I'm going to take full responsibility for. It wasn't the Eagles. I believe it's the Patriots. Somebody should have caught me on that one. But he played for the Eastview Patriots as a defensive end, as well as being a participant and volunteer. He spoke very highly of the Boys and Girls Club here in Georgetown. And apparently he spent quite a bit of time over there and helped do some mentoring over there, as well as being a member. Next slide, please.
Wilson, thanks for that correction on the football team.
Very important, and I thank you. Okay, Isabella Carlisle is graduating from Gerald High School this spring, and she plans to attend Tarleton State University in Stephenville this fall. Her honored teacher is Mrs. Adkins. This is kind of a unique situation where we did the Gerald High School, but I won't go into a long story about it, but this is the only one from Gerald, and we're very proud to have her as part of this scholarship award today. She's president of the FCCLA and also served as VP of that same organization, which is the Family, Community, and Career Leaders of America. Apparently that's a fairly strong organization. Next slide, please. Lindsay Carr. She's going to graduate from Georgetown High School and attend Texas A&M College. She's a varsity track letter person and student council vice president and worked with PALS. Her honored teacher is Coach Andrew Braun. Next. Nicole Colangelo is Eastview High School, and she's planning to attend University of Texas in Austin. Her honored teacher is John Hanna. She is also a Rotary Scholar and a member of Mu Alpha Theta. Those of you that don't realize that Rotary Scholar is top 5% of the class. I know the Rotarians know that, but that's a pretty small club. She's also a member of the Ruby Slipper Club and also the class of 2020 Vice President. We congratulate her. Next slide. Madison Dyer. She's going to graduate from Eastview and attend University of Texas in Austin. And she honored her teacher, Mary Jarcy. She's a Rotary Scholar and received the Patriot Award from Eastview High School. She is also a National Honor Society member and a Ruby Slipper member. Next slide, please. Dylan Finkenkeller will graduate from Eastview High School and is going to attend Texas A&M. His honored teacher is Mr. Bow, and he was an active volunteer with the Special Olympics basketball as well as the Special Olympics track, two organizations I'm very familiar with, and ROC, the Ride On Center for Kids here in Georgetown. All those are great organizations, and he is also a Rotary Scholar. I wanted to make a quick note here too. In the past, I have always really gone on and on about the accomplishments of these great kids that we're looking at today. And I shortened it a little bit just so you didn't have to listen to me read for too long today. I could probably spend 5 or 6 minutes on each student discussing things about them, and we're going a little faster today. Next slide, please. Emily Flax will graduate from Georgetown High School with that magical 4.0 grade point average. She's going to attend the University of Kansas, and her honored teacher is Miss Carolyn Heiss. I know Mrs. Heiss quite well through the scouting volunteers that she's done. Emily is a varsity tennis player and also a member of Mu Alpha Theta. Next slide, please. Angelica Valencia Flores will graduate from Georgetown High School. She plans to attend the University of Texas in Arlington, Texas, and study nursing. Boy, that nursing is something we need right now. I know that. She was a member of Sir Teens, Mu Alpha Theta, Upward Bound, and The Locker. Her honored teacher is Mrs. Catherine Lefevre. Next slide. Ronnie Hall is going to graduate from Risharti High School, and that's Ronnie on the right, where he is a fellow, Risharti High School, where Rob Dyer is principal. Ronnie's going to attend Texas State Technical College in Waco, and he honored his teacher, Mr. Jeff Leno. Ronnie is a member of the National Honor Society and was a member of the Sea Perch Underwater Robotics team while he was at Risharti. And if he was here today, I'd ask him just what the Sea Perch Underwater Robotics team did. It sounds very interesting to me. Okay, next slide, please. Elizabeth Jenkins. She's going to graduate from Eastview and going to attend Texas State University in San Marcos this fall. Her honored teacher is John Hanna. And while in high school, she was a member of the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce Junior Leadership, which I mentioned on an earlier recipient. She's also an artist and has won blue ribbons for digital art and painting. Next slide, George. Christopher Milton. He's going to graduate from Eastview this year. He's planning to attend UT down in Austin, and his honored teacher is Mary Bow. And while in high school, he was the drum major for the Eastview High School marching band, and he's also a graduate of the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce Junior Leadership Program. I'm almost beginning to see a pattern with the Junior Leadership Program. Looks like it turns out some pretty good folks. Next slide, please. Ashley Reed, she's going to be another one that's going to graduate from Georgetown with that magical 4.0 grade point average. She's going to attend the University of Texas in Austin or Trinity University in San Antonio, and her honored teacher is Mr. Wes Coleman. She was president of the Sir Teens and excelled in archery being the highest scoring in a tournament in 2019. I think that's really neat. I quite honestly, didn't realize we had archery in our high schools, but what a great program it is. Next slide. Logan Scott is going to graduate with a 4.0 GPA, and he's planning to attend the University of North Texas. He was active in all-state concert band, the marching band, and orchestra, and his honored teacher is Justin Smith. And I might add here, you can guess what he's going to major in. He's going to be a music major up at North Texas, which is one of the better music schools in this state. Next slide. Julian Torres will graduate from Eastview. He's planning to attend the University of Texas in Austin. During high school, he became a certified nursing aide while staying in the top 10% of his class. And in his application, he made quite a few comments about his work as being a nursing aide. And I don't know if he's in school or how that works right now, but he could be very busy right now. Julian Torres. George, next slide. Summer Uncle is going to graduate from Georgetown High School, and she's an active member of the Georgetown Interact Rotary Club over at Georgetown High School, and she's planning to attend the University of Texas in Austin. And I'm sorry we didn't get her picture or honored teacher. Murphy's Law says it'll probably show up on my computer right after this meeting, but hopefully maybe we can publish some of this stuff a little later on. Next slide, George. And the last recipient of the Rotary Scholarship is Mr. Thomas Wagoner. And he's an Eastview High School student planning to attend Texas A&M this fall. His honored teacher is Chef Emily Jimenez. And Thomas is an Eagle Scout. I think he's the only Eagle Scout that showed up on our group this year with Troop 155. And he was also on the FCCLA culinary competition team his junior and senior year. And he was the homecoming king. So I would say that's a pretty dynamic person. And I wish he could come do some cooking for us sometime. Maybe we'll try to lure him back down to the meeting someday. That's all of our scholars for this year. And as I said, I went a little faster. I could talk about them for a long time, but I just didn't want to spend the whole meeting listening to me talk. I think Danny, George, and many people have done a great job of giving us a pretty good presentation of this. I was kind of wondering how we would pull all this off, but I think having their pictures up there and be able to mention their honored teachers. I will mention too, we always tell the teachers, just because you got honored by more than one student, you still only get one check. We don't double up on that, but it's fun to give a little gift to the teachers and everybody else. So until next year, I'm going to sign off and send this back over to George.
I was kind of wondering how we would pull all this off, but having the pictures up there and be able to mention their honor.
Let's congratulate all these people, all these students who've gotten their scholarship. They've done a fantastic job.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, we are wrapping up right on time. Oh my gosh. Will Wilson is doing an incredible job as usual. Does anyone have announcements for the good of Rotary? I don't see anything on the YouTube. No one mentioned anything here on Zoom, so I think we're good on that. So we'll all come together now, and if we were in the meeting, we'd be standing. And for the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Friends, thank you for joining us for the Rotary Club of Georgetown virtual meeting. We'll see you right back here on Friday, and hopefully soon we can all get together in person. Until then, Have a blessed day, and thanks again for being a part of this meeting. We'll see you next week, friends.